Welcome from sunny and hot San Antonio, typical for this time of year. Today we're going to talk about Encore. Some housekeeping things first. Before we get started, this is a presentation from the San Antonio Coalition of Veterans and Families. Our mission, the immediate assistance for homeless veterans. Please feel free to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We're talking about music today, and I found this quote: "Our two means of refuge from the misery of life, music and cats," by Albert Schweitzer. Today we're talking about music. Maybe in a later presentation, we'll talk about cats. Our guest speaker, Dr. Tracy Cowden, UTSA. I had to look up what a DMA was, a Doctor of Musical Arts. The program we're going to talk about today, Encore, very interesting. I went to a presentation and two gentlemen were talking about the program. Um, I'll leave the description up. It's from their website and you can look at it, but it's a very intriguing program and I was surprised to see it existed and pleased to hear what the two gentlemen had to say. Some important points: the rehearsals are on Saturdays at UTSA. It's free. No previous musical experience required. We're going to hear more about that. And the instruments are loaned. So what a wonderful program. For more information, we have the website up. I also have a phone number in the description. It's worth taking a look. So without further ado, Tracy, hello, and thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, a couple quick questions. How long have you been at UTSA?
I have been here for 8 years.
Okay, so that's a good long time. How did this program come about?
Well, I have always been interested in fostering lifelong learning in music, and that is an important value here in the School of Music at UTSA as well. That's something that's always been important to us. We have String Project, which provides low-cost string music education to elementary school children. And so it was a natural fit for us to consider adding something like an adult program as well. And there's a long history of a program called New Horizons Music, which is adult beginning band, that was started at the Eastman School of Music over 30 years ago. Now, the model for New Horizons is you buy or rent your own instrument, you join this program, and they teach you how to play, and you pay a small fee that covers the cost of the program. But when I brought up the idea of adding such a program here, my colleagues said, well, we should do it for veterans because we're in San Antonio. And it was such a light bulb moment. It seemed such an obvious idea. And so I reached out to the founder of New Horizons, Dr. Roy Ernst, who's professor emeritus at the Eastman School of Music. And we asked him for permission essentially to change the model, because if we were going to do it for veterans, we wanted it to be free for them to participate, so there was no barrier to entry. And he said, I've been wanting to do that for years. So he mentored us as we got the program started and helped us get our first grant to get the program off the ground, and secure funding for instruction, the cost of instruction. And we launched the program in the fall of 2022.
Okay, right after COVID. Your target population, veterans and their spouses, can
It
be.
has been, up until now, it has been just veterans. It's just this fall that we have opened it up to spouses. So we started in the fall of 2022 with just veterans, and it has been that way for 4 years. And we've been growing steadily since then. We have over 100 veterans enrolled already for this fall, but we have opened it up to spouses now. We're growing at a pace that we feel is manageable, and so we wanted to extend that benefit to spouses in particular, because we understand how much they experience through the military lifestyle as well. And so we wanted to extend that benefit to them.
Wonderful. What a nice idea.
Mhm.
Now, as I said, a person basically just needs to show up and be willing. It doesn't sound like they need to bring much more to the table. So tell me about your typical person who enrolls. What do they get out of the? I know what they get out of the program, but obviously, what do they need to bring to the program, and how does it work?
That's correct. Yeah, so we do say truly there is no prior musical experience required. So we encourage people who have maybe played an instrument in high school or middle school and then dropped it at that, years ago and would like to pick it up again. Um, that's one set of people. Another set may be people who never had the opportunity to learn an instrument but would like to try and as just something to, kind of fill their free time and a really challenging learning activity, challenging but manageable. There are a couple of things about that we feel are really important. One is that learning in the arts can be really beneficial to your well-being, your emotional well-being, and your social well-being because you're doing it in a group setting. And having any kind of a challenge where the bar is just high enough that you have it's a little bit of a struggle, but not too much of a struggle is good for you. It's good for your brain. And learning music is actually something that touches on kind of all aspects of your of learning in your brain. Your auditory learning, and it stimulates all parts of your brain essentially when you're learning music. And it's really fun, and you get to play in a group environment. You get to be with people that you're comfortable with other veterans. So we really do run the gamut. And there's an instrument tryout session, an information session that starts the whole event in the fall. So veterans will actually get an opportunity to try making a sound on lots of different instruments. So if they have no idea what they want to play, that's fine. They can show up that day and actually get a chance to try a lot of things.
Okay, so that's a good for a newbie to
Yes.
know that they kind of get eased into this. Um, in a typical season, are you building towards a performance at some point?
Yes,
What,
so we start in September. We start this year on September 12th with rehearsals. That's when we hand out the instruments and begin. There's always a December concert and then a May concert in the recital hall at UTSA. And there are sometimes additional concerts beyond that. Now, for the people who are just starting, beginners, we won't ask them to perform publicly before that December concert because that's a lot of pressure for somebody who's just picking up an instrument for the first time. And their performance on that December concert will be pretty short. It's really their first time doing something like that. But more experienced players who are joining us in the fall for the first time may end up joining either the intermediate level band, which all of our bands are named after San Antonio landmarks. So we have the Missions Band, the Alamo Band. The more advanced band is called the Yanaguana Band, and then there's a jazz band called the Presidio Jazz Ensemble. And the Presidio Jazz Ensemble and the Yanaguana Band both are ready to go out and perform publicly earlier. And so we've had some performance invitations already, and they may actually do performances earlier than December.
and it sounds like once a person gets into the system, they may stay with you for years.
Absolutely. We do have quite a few members that have been with us since the very first year.
Exciting. Okay. What what's on the horizon for you now? Obviously, you've expanded who your outreach is to. What else do you foresee in the future as the program goes on?
We received a small pilot grant this year from the Francis Clark Center, which is a national center for keyboard pedagogy, essentially learning how to teach piano, to actually start beginning class piano for adults. It's going to be a really small pilot. We don't quite have all the funding in place to start that yet, but we are hoping in the spring to start that. It would be a class of 14 adults, so just a small little pilot. But that's something that we've been wanting to do since the beginning. So adding piano, recreational music making in a group piano setting to Encore is something that we've been wanting to start as well. So it's a little bit of it is just making sure that we have, sustainable funding stream to help pay the instructor and the cost of supplies. But as long as we're able to keep that going, then that's something that we would like to add to the program as well. And we think we're going to be splitting into a second jazz band this year as well, because there's such great interest in the jazz ensemble that it has grown beyond the size of a normal big band. So we may end up with two big bands this year.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm going to show my lack of musical knowledge. So when I think of a band, what should I think of as the instruments involved? Just so someone out there is thinking about, hmm,
Good question. So the three concert bands follow the traditional military concert band ensemble. So if somebody thinks of what they see when they see like Air Force Band of the West, we teach the basic instruments in that band. So flute, clarinet, saxophone, trumpet, trombone, euphonium, tuba, and percussion. If someone already knows how to play French horn, oboe, bassoon, we'll help them with that. We're not going to teach those as beginner instruments because they're quite a bit more challenging. But we do have people on all of those instruments in the bands. Also, same thing with tenor saxophone and baritone saxophone. Those instruments we've got incorporated in the bands. Again, if people already play them, then that we can make that happen. In the jazz band, then we also have the rhythm section. So we have piano, bass, guitar, in addition to the other the horn sections in the jazz band. So
nice. It's quite exciting stuff.
yeah, and we have some wonderful community partners that help support the program. All right, we own several instruments for the program, and the funders that have helped support the program have allowed us to purchase quite a few more. So that's how we're able to loan these out. Musical Instrument Service, which is a repair shop in San Antonio, is providing instrument loans for us at no cost to the veterans. That's a veteran-owned business, and they really wanted to support Encore. So they're helping us out. And then we are funded by the Texas Commission on the Arts and the Stumberg Family Foundation, and James Avery Jewelers also is a major supporter of ours. So that is what allows us to provide the program at no cost to veterans.
So we're filming this in late July.
Mhm.
Um, what's your cutoff for applying in the August? I know it's coming in August, but in the September 2026 season to 2027.
So our cutoff for registration is August 24th, which is a Monday. And the reason that we do that is we have an information session on Saturday, August 29th, that is in person on the main campus at UTSA in the Arts Building. So Saturday, August 29th is the info session. Registration by August 24th, that Monday. That gives us time to communicate with everybody before Saturday and answer questions and give parking directions and all of that. And then there's the 2-week break with Labor Day in the middle there. Gives us time to gather all the instruments and do all that we need to do to get ready to welcome everyone on September 12th.
Wonderful. What a nice program.
Mhm.
And I think you highlighted some of the benefits of being involved with music.
And there's no age limit. We've got veterans from their 30s to their 80s, so everybody's welcome.
Super. Anything else you can think of?
I would just say that there's no like I would encourage people to try it no matter what. We want to welcome veterans no matter if they have a disability, or if they're concerned about any kind of a health challenge that they feel like may prevent them from being a part of it. That's something that is a big concern to us, and we've been learning how to address that along the way. We've been thinking about what instruments might be more appropriate for somebody considering that. And, we're at a major research university here, and we've got the capacity, I think, to address some of those challenges in really creative ways. And there are technological ways that we can assist people as well. So if somebody has a disability, the building is completely accessible. There's accessible parking right outside. So there are ways that we can address those challenges. And in the registration form, there is a place to put that information if they'd like, and they can also reach out to me or to one of the directors with further questions about that, and we're happy to reach out and have a conversation with them. So
That's super. Seems like you put a lot of thought into reducing barriers.
we're
That's
trying.
wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you so much. This has been enlightening.
And
I
everybody
think
is welcome to come to the concerts, I
I
will
think
say.
that's my speed. I don't think the playing it. Okay.
There's also, I would just encourage everybody, if you want to see a little bit more what it's like, there's a 20-minute documentary about Encore that is available on YouTube that was completely directed and produced by UTSA students. It's simply called Encore, the name of the band, ON-CORPS. And you can find that on there. And our founding director is interviewed in there, and 3 of our founding members as well. It's a really special piece. So.
Thank you again.